Welcome to the deep dive. We've got some really varied sources you shared today, so let's jump right in and unpack the key things you need to know.
Okay, first up, we have a source that tackles a really difficult subject, bonded labor in India. It starts with a truly heartbreaking story.
Yeah, it focuses on Venkatesh, just 9 years old, and his mother Ankama from Andhra Pradesh. It really sets the scene.
It does. Ankama, from the Yanadi tribal community that seems important, took an advance, 15,000, from a duck farmer, couldn't pay it back.
And that's where it gets awful. The source says Venkatesh was taken effectively as collateral, and the farmer apparently inflated the debt to 42,000.
Exactly. A common tactic, the source implies. It even recounts their last conversation, him tending ducks in Tamil Nadu, talking about simple food like curd rice versus just rice and water. Small details, but powerful.
Then Ankama tries to repay, but the source says the farmer refused, used casteist slurs apparently, and just claimed Venkatesh ran away.
But the police investigation uncovered something much darker. The farmer confessed the boy died, supposedly of jaundice, and he buried him.
But that clashes completely with what the police cited from the post-mortem, right?
Completely. The report mentioned blunt force injury to the head, caused by a heavy weapon, injury sufficient to cause death. So, not jaundice.
Which led to arrests under several acts: Bonded Labor Abolition Act, Child Labor Act, SCST Act, Juvenile Justice Act, and later a murder charge, too.
Right. And that Bonded Labor Act from '76 specifically forbids forcing people to work off debts or even making advances that compel labor. But, as the source stresses, it's still happening.
The article also touches on Ankama's current situation, still living precariously, working hard, and this really complex bit about release certificates.
Yeah, that's tough. Technically, only the boy was bonded. Since he's dead, an official quoted suggests the family might not even be eligible for certain compensation. It seems incredibly unfair.
And the source broadens it out, saying Andhra Pradesh is both a source and destination for this. Activists believe many cases, especially involving marginalized groups like the Yanadis or migrants, just never come to light.
The Yanadis are highlighted, a denotified tribe, very poor, low literacy. The source says Ankama didn't even know bonded labor was illegal. They're vulnerable, often scared.
There's another story, too. Kati Kotaya, also Yanadi. A small debt spiraled over 20 years into a massive one, his whole family forced into labor, cutting logs for terrible pay sold between employers.
Horrific conditions described there, no wages sometimes, restricted movement. His escape story is incredible, selling his house to clear some debt, using voting as an excuse to leave.
But even post-rescue, the source notes the challenge. Lack of land or work can push people back. Kotaya's life is better now, but the risk is there.
And it's not just logging. Duck rearing units, like with Venkatesh, often prefer children. The conditions are described as really harsh.
Systemic failures seem key here. The source mentions few official police reports, lack of standard procedures in AP compared to other states, confusion between departments, delayed committees.
Basically, gaps that allow this practice, which one leader calls organized crime, to continue. He suggests a dedicated department, even a toll-free number, could have made a difference, maybe even for Venkatesh.
So the takeaway is stark. Despite being illegal, this persists due to deep-rooted vulnerability and, crucially, systemic gaps that fail to protect people.
Okay, let's shift gears quite dramatically now. The next source takes us somewhere completely different, the world of homegrown Indian board games.
Yeah, this is fascinating. It's about a trend where modern games are really leaning into Indian settings, cultures, geography. You can be a Mumbai property developer or an Aleppi boat racer.
They sound vocally and unabashedly Indian, as the source puts it. Inspired by real places, real culture, relatability seems to be a big driver.
Definitely. Examples like A Wood Above the Clouds, set in Ladakh, designed by someone who lived there. It involves hiking, ecology, even conservation awareness. Or Lakshadweep, where you build the archipelago houses, fisheries, coral reefs.
And the source mentions games set all over Taj Mahal, Jaipur, Gujarat kite flying, the Sundarbans, Chennai food, Hampi, a real geographical spread.
They talk about the research involved, capturing those local details like Bengaluru's late-night biryani or Mumbai's transport system.
Mighty Mumbai gets a good mention. Designed like a double-decker bus, quirky characters, capturing that hustle culture. The designer wanted something tangible, reflecting the city's dreams and challenges, even things like getting pickpocketed or finding a PG.
It teaches values too, apparently friends, connections, and they're working on one about Bengaluru's startup scene next.
It also touches on representing culture accurately. Like the Aleppi boat race game, Kali, they actually consulted the community, interviewed oarsmen to get the nuances right.
Which the creators found eye-opening. It highlights the responsibility involved.
And the source explains what makes these modern games. The theme and gameplay are inseparable. Take away the Indian context and the game falls apart. Plus, they're built for replayability.
It's not just entertainment, though. The article suggests these games act as documentation, souvenirs, even gifts, tangible cultural pieces.
Yeah, the mighty Mumbai designer hopes prints might become souvenirs. And A World Above the Clouds, the creator, sees it as documentation, hopes it could be used in schools. Apparently, teenagers are really enjoying it.
So these games are more than just fun. They're becoming these unique cultural touchstones, blending entertainment with education, culture, even conservation, all through play. Really interesting development. Okay, for our final source today, we move into, well, a much heavier topic again. It's a geopolitical analysis of the India-Pakistan relationship and future warfare. And just to be really clear up front, we're presenting the perspectives from this specific article, not taking any sides ourselves.
Right. The source, written by M.K. Narayanan, argues that India continues to face threats from Pakistan, which it claims persist in trying to provoke conflict, aiming to bleed India by 1,000 cuts.
The viewpoint presented is that a secular, democratic India is essentially unacceptable to Pakistan's foundational ideology. It portrays Pakistan as unstable, but focused on India, suggesting peace depends heavily on who holds power there, usually, it claims, the military.
The conclusion drawn in the article is that India must prepare for potential conflict. It describes Pakistan currently as almost a military dictatorship, with the army chief wielding significant influence.
The source even includes alleged quotes from the Pakistan army chief characterizing Pakistan as a religious entity, fundamentally different from India, and stressing the importance of Kashmir. Again, these are claims reported within the source.
Based on this view, the article predicts things like a rise in religious nationalism and, crucially, the impact of technology on conflict. It stresses the importance of escalation dominance controlling the speed and scale of conflict.
Recent clashes are framed partly as a proxy conflict for military tech suppliers to see how their equipment performs Rafales versus J-10Cs, for instance.
Drones get a lot of attention. The ability to use swarms of cheap drones is changing things. Both sides are apparently learning fast about drone capabilities and countermeasures.
The source mentions specific systems: Pakistan using Turkish drones, Chinese jets, India using kamikaze drones and its layered air defense Akash S-400 Barak, which the article deems adequate cover.
It also claims India didn't need its ultimate weapon, the BrahMos missile, suggesting Pakistan has no answer to it, though it does note improvements in electronic warfare on both sides.
So the source's overall picture of future war: highly technological, speed and dominance are key. It suggests India has an edge now, but it's not guaranteed.
And the broader context, according to the article, is a fragmented world where conflicts might escalate quickly with little room for diplomacy. Arms control might become less relevant, and it even mentions new nuclear weapon designs, narrowing the threshold in its view.
The final, really critical point the source raises is India's readiness for a potential two-front war, China and Pakistan simultaneously. It assesses India's current forces as adequate for one front, but
facing both requires balancing capabilities. And here, the article identifies what it calls a major neglected aspect and inadequacy for India.
which is
The lack of a dedicated satellite system and comprehensive satellite surveillance network. The source argues space-based assets are absolutely critical now for early warning, tracking, communication. Space, it declares, is the new domain of warfare.
And that lack of dedicated satellite capability is presented as a serious vulnerability that needs addressing urgently, according to this analysis.
So the core takeaway from this source's perspective: future conflict is increasingly technological, and dominance in space, especially satellite surveillance, is presented as potentially the decisive yet currently overlooked factor.
Thank you for listening. You can give suggestions by contacting on Twitter handle given in the episode description. We are always eager to hear what our listeners want to be informed about.